So I kind of wondered if something had happened there. But I left it, and I think I returned back to the same location, and that treat at least was gone, so maybe another cat took it, maybe a rat took it, I don't know. But I felt bad. It was such a beat-up cat, man. Like, more so than usual for street cats. Because street cats are almost always going to be, like, a little beat up, maybe a little dingy, but this one had, like, all the markings of a tough life. They may miss my cats, actually. Alright, so top right of data C, we have GuMiHo, who is proxying the most proxy that anyone's ever proxied. Byun in the bottom left is not going to be seeing this one, apparently. So, yeah. With this particular hanging area on data C, an SCV scout will now scout it. Basically, I don't know how many maps there are in the current map pool that allow you to have a proxy barracks like this go, like, remain unscouted, or even proxy gateway, actually. You can do some crazy things, but data C, looking at it now, you can see how this would be one of the more abusive ones. You could tuck it in all the way over here, and an SCV scout going just, you know, as close as possible to the closest distance to the place it's been told to go. Would never see that. And it's just something that if you hold it in your pocket, you wait patiently, you don't use it for 100 games, the other Terran player's not going to suspect it. If Byun had played a ladder game before this and just had this happen, oh, he's scouting it, but how likely is that to happen? So this very proxied proxy is going to be a Marauder proxy. And because a lot of the 2 gas openers don't bother scouting, there's not even any indication on this side of the map that something is up. Although, does look like the Reaper actually bothered scouting. So that was nice of him. Just see that little check right. A little bit more to the right side. Barracks was scouted. Cancels the add-on. Builds a bunker. Goes into the faster marine production. Very nice. And actually, I think this looks like GuMiHo didn't realize he was scouted. So that's always the nice part about it. Like when an Overlord doesn't reveal itself to a 2-Rax. So GuMiHo is going to run up, hoping to find someone completely unguarded. Then boom! SCV's actually pulled into it. And if Byun had even maybe mineral walked, I wonder if you could have trapped that. Maybe. Well, Byun's Reaper on the side of the map already causing chaos. 4 SCVs, delayed supply depot. Gonna get out of there as well. Come back later when the Hellions are suspecting it. GuMiHo's all about the proxies today. Got a proxy factory coming down as well. And this is gonna work twofold, right? One, because who expects this? I mean, threefold even. Who expects the proxy starport? 2, who expects the proxy starport in this location? 3, the Marauders are already containing anyways, so what would scout this? Like a medevac? Like, you know, Byun starport isn't even on the way, so that's really unlikely. So it's not going to be known, because I think the Reaper also got pushed away. Didn't die, though. Where is it? Just went back home. So he hasn't scouted the lack of starport by the looks of things. I mean, I'm pretty sure when he got in, the starport still wasn't on the way, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't know about it. Yeah. Yeah. If he got in again and actually got like a full look around, then he would know, but... Because that's... the fact that it's a proxy is important, but it's also the fact that it is actually just a straight up 1-1-1, right? There was no command center coming down, which might be the expectation. So that's going to potentially confuse Byun's defenses. Oh, I was just going to say this, I swear to God. If he underreacts, if he thinks that this is going to move on and salvages the bunker, that might cause problems. Just because the bunker would have 100%, you know, 2 Marines, all 4 Marines, whatever, it would have 100% covered that wall, at least enough for Byun to respond. But while a tank is an excellent defensive tool, you think would cover all your bases, if it gets dropped upon, that might not cover it. So the bunker still would have been very helpful. You can see why he would think, okay, I got this locked down, I'm alright, good to go. And he might still be. Marauders land on top of the Cyclone, but don't actually get the successful kill, all while being killed by that tank. So, actually, the location of everything really working out for Byun. GuMiHo's... I don't know what he's going to be able to do. Killing a supply depot. so freaking careful about using the medevac, man. So freaking careful. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, that lock-on was on a Marauder. Whoo, which gets picked up. Alright. Byun picks up 8 Marines, goes across the map. GuMiHo he's got 2 Cyclones back on home. Probably going to be okay. He doesn't have his finished command center, so Byun has his as an orbital already mining up 4 workers. GuMiHo is going to go ahead and add on a much faster 3rd CC, however, and then go into Mech as well. You got a bunch of gases coming down as well as another factory. Oof. 3 Cyclones even. Getting the bop on Byun's medevac, which I think a lot of other times would have been a great idea, but not right then. GuMiHo still managing to control the situation, despite what looked to be a successful defense of both the Marauder proxy and the Marauder drop. Byun might actually use this tech lab, by the way. That might be why he stopped shooting at it. Which it's always like clever. It's always cool to see it. It doesn't usually matter, but I mean, why not? Save yourself a little bit of cash. Should have bought the cat some cigarettes. Yeah, it was obviously a grizzled veteran. I mean, what am I expecting? He's prepared for my next furry friend. Last time I was in Sinshan, back like in 2017, I did buy cat treats because I just would see them so often. But of course, what would happen, you know, you finally buy the cat treats to carry them with you. Because I was also walking to like a PC bong from like, you know, at 2 in the morning every time. So I was very, like, I could be as, how to say, like, unabashed. There we go. As much as I wanted, you know. There's no one there to judge me if they saw me looking around for a cat to give treats to. But of course, once you get the treats, they just stop appearing, right? That's how you solve the cat crisis. Alright, 3 Cyclones trying to kind of control the expansion process a little bit, and with their ability to lock onto a tank, if Byun had been a little more careless and siege hopping them forward, could have lost 1, even 2 tanks there. Raven harassment's apparently not going to be chased down. Oh, nope, there's the Viking. And even the Liberator's adding in some damage. So what did the Raven do? It scouted, because I think actually before that Raven got in, Byun was not sure about what was the follow-up. I could be wrong about that. He might have scouted the second factory. But either way, now totally confirmed. He did already have 2 tech labs, so maybe he did see it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, spare treats at any day. Who from KR would be leave them with? Well, yeah, Tasteless has cats, so I might just give it to him. Might just rip them open and leave them around for stray cats, or again, rats. You know, either one. All right, that's a pretty good number of tanks there from GuMiHo. Sieges up the backline ones, so it doesn't actually get pounced upon. And Byun was not really pounce prepared. Speaking of cats, pounce cats, yeah, anyways. He didn't have a lot of bio. So while Stim was done, Combat Shields wasn't. It just wasn't a lot of the units that could stim forward. Tanks, they're not fast. They can concave, but they're not exactly fast. So GuMiHo, maybe a little surprised to be jumped upon like that. Takes it nice and calm, sieges up, then really starts the siege hop. It's getting a little concerning. Byun has 1-1 upgrades, will eventually have combat shields, he'll be able to buy that time for sure. But does the number of units actually hold here? That is the question. Oh my god, 2 medevacs just flew into the 2 Cyclones, are you kidding me? Kind of fortunately for Byun though, the 2 medevacs actually were each targeted. So while one would have 100% died if both Cyclones locked on, they split the damage. But now they're going to die to the Vikings! Okay, there you have it. I mean, it jigs up entirely anyways. Would have been one of those, like, weird, like, I know that he knows that I know. Maybe then it would have done damage. But GuMiHo was also getting Vikings back at home. Now on double armory as well, so he will start up those upgrades, which, you know, the upgrade lead for a bio versus mech situation is not really even that important right now. Far more important would be actually having combat shields done, finally finishes up, and then actually having enough units, which is the real struggle. The fact that they're both at an even supply does not bode super well for the bio player, although the timing on the unsiege, oh boy. Oh, as Byun scans, gets a tank shot or two, but even I think there was a Cyclone tanking most of the volleys so the Marauders could live. Oh, that was very unfortunate timing. I mean, Byun was approaching the number of units and the setup to conquer that tank line anyways. That's why GuMiHo, I think, was about to evacuate. But, you know, could have had a more cost-efficient engagement. Still, even after that, now that we have Byun in a comfier 20 supply army lead, I still think that GuMiHo is in an okay position. Alright, 4th CC is on the way. I am a little concerned about the lack of tanks, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe he's not okay. Oh, boy. I guess the tank production not really all that strong. No, only recently getting up and running, but okay. There you go. Well placed. We'll deal with this. No medevacs to heal as well. Vikings landing on tanks to destroy as much as possible. And yeah, GuMiHo's fine. But I looked at the production, and I was like, oh, there's only been 2 tech labs this entire time. No, he's okay. Now he can add on the rest of the production. And actually, since he's already moved on to a 4th CC, he can add further production, I believe. So usually it's like 5 factories on 3 base. You could go up to 7, up to 4 bases. Definitely go up to 7 or 8. He's also getting a lot of upgrades, though. It's not just double armory, but also blue flame. Lots of missile turrets, which you mineral bank anyways. But also high-sec auto tracking, really fast. So these missile turrets will have a little bit more bite than usual. Byun now not having to be concerned about a lot of the early game kerfuffle has really streamlined his production and should be taking advantages of the map as a bio player should. So, yep, expanding on location, getting still faster upgrades, and just generally trying to find openings in his opponent's defense. One of the problems right now is that GuMiHo is kind of snuck over this command center. Byun's maybe thinking right now, haha, I got you, like you haven't taken your 4th CC. But actually he is. That said, when Byun figures it out, this is not a particularly safe location for a 4th CC, right? This is pretty far away from the reinforcement path compared to the typical 4-base setup. But it's just that Byun hasn't actually looked yet. So that's it's kind of damning. You really do want to stall out the process of expansions as much as possible. Generally, while also transitioning to Vikings, I would say, but remaxing and just trying to drive the pressure point also can happen still. But in a game like this, Byun not stopping the 4th command center and getting the mech player increasingly close to being maxed out, usually, barring any really cool concave/surround opportunities, this means the mech player is just the superior army. So we, you know, so much more often see a dive towards that air superiority from the bio player that uses their mobility and economy because of the map control to get to the advanced air warfare. Big old drop into the main base. Those missile turrets were not all-encompassing. High-sec auto-tracking only can cover so much, but a Hellbat drop on top of everything, and this is something that is so annoying. It's like you forget that it exists, even though it was heavily abused in Heart of the Swarm, and then people do it to you, and you're like, oh, yeah. This fucking sucks. Kind of takes away, 1, the mobility advantage that Bio usually has, and then 2, also means that the engagement type kind of changes as well, or maybe being balled up would have been better if Hellbat drops weren't coming in. And now GuMiHo, having cleaned that up, knowing that he just took down a large portion of his opponent's supply while having a near maxed out army himself, is going to move across the map, and I don't know how Byun holds. I really don't. I mean, he's going to be maxed out, but he's going to be up against a fully maxed out mech army with 2-2. He's trying to buy more time, trying to get the army to move while unsieged, right? Best chance to actually start picking off some of these tanks, but once again, the Hellbats come in, clean up some of the low health units after all those stims, after a couple of tank shots to the face. They could only sustain so long, so, you know, even with that in mind, a real base trade is very difficult for Byun to achieve. Now, that did buy a little bit of time. I don't know if it bought enough time for him to have that air superiority. 7-7 Vikings, actually very, very close, but GuMiHo, also adding on Thors, as well as the Cyclone upgrade, has that kind of gap to bridge, I guess, where if he is being outgunned in the air, he has that emergency response, which he actually has not been outgunned in the air. He just won the Viking War Maybe temporarily, because Byun's going to have faster reinforcements, but winning the Viking War as he goes closer and closer to Byun's third base. So it's really getting sketch. 3-3 will finish up for Byun very soon, but is that really something that's going to help against the pure firepower of Mech that also has pretty decent upgrades? Hellbat drops on top with the remaining defenses as Byun tries to split his army. The Hellbat drop is going to lead the way. Tanks will siege hop forward, and Byun, his desperate counterattack, is looking even more desperate. Just scan ahead, sees nothing defending. GuMiHo actually rallying in a TvT and as a Mech player because he built the Thors. These are supposed to be on the front lines helping the air war, right? So that's why he was rallying. Otherwise, if these were tanks, I don't think he does. And this would have been easier to hold against. As it is, the command center is not the biggest of deals. Byun now trying to slap down command centers every which way. Maybe hoping that GuMiHo's army control gets a little sloppy as well. You know, some of the tanks on siege, too far away from the siege tanks, pick off 1 or 2 tanks. Suddenly, you're only thinking it's 3 or 4 tanks. It's actually doable then, right? But it's not quite hitting that part. It's not quite hitting that moment of like, oh, now I can get us around. Now I have enough with my faster reinforcements. This is still a bit too much for GuMiHo on the front lines. And the Thors, well, I do believe they still were there to help out against the air. They do still pack a punch, and they're very healthy beings, all right? They're healthy boys. So they also take a decent amount of shots to tear down. Now reinforcements come forward. Byun doesn't have too many options left over. Trying to drop on top of someone who has 6 Thors. You know, not going to work out. I think Byun's just looking for some type of victory. Wow, rude. I'm sure Belair had a reason to do this, but it just I'm always so hesitant. Like, even if I had a straight up emergency, if there's just like a losing game for one player and I just straight up left, I'd be so afraid I'd be misconstrued. As BM. But yeah, Byun was definitely dead. Does tap out. Thanks, Fatterlinks. And really unfortunate that Byun didn't find that 4th command center, because the struggle over the 4th landing is really a key part of that bio versus Mech sequence. And then depending on how that goes, it either means that the bio player is really ahead. Maybe they've won. Maybe the Terran player, the Mech player has failed in their expansion process. So they get overrun and they die. Or it's like a real struggle for the Mech players. They're affording a lot of things on the ground still, so that the bio player does transition to the air. Or, obviously in that case, they just there was no contest over it at all, which meant that Byun had a false read on the game, and then GuMiHo never really had to sweat. There was a lot of things that happened in the early game with all those proxies that made it a bit interesting, but kind of when the 3-base to 4-base situation happened, both of them got to line things up, but one of them with a better end goal than the other. GuMiHo's end goal to get maxed out, get the 4 bases maxed out, worked really well. Byun's goal to contain failed as soon as he missed that 4th CC. Now I move on to Stargazers, and I see both of them sending out SCVs. This is the way it goes, guys. Top right, Byun. Top left, GuMiHo. GuMiHo so far on a tear. They are both going to cross the middle. Oh my god, they actually connected. I was not expecting that. They kissed. Mwah. Well, now you can't. No. Oh my god. So Byun's saying, I can't. I'm not going to do it anymore. Byun is saying I'm not going to do it anymore. GuMiHo is actually still going to proxy. Yojin. No, I don't know what that says, actually. My Korean is way too limited to start deciphering, especially what is most likely to be kind of slang. All I can tell you is that was there's a laugh. So, I kind of like the choice here from GuMiHo, I think. Yeah, I think. So first of all, GuMiHo is getting this really amazing scout, and he sees no second gas. he also basically did scout that Byun is not scouting him. And, you know, further confirmation just by no SCV coming into the main base. So with that in mind, this is actually, I feel like, a really good though situation for GuMiHo. I'm a little surprised that... Oh, okay, Byun is not going to go for one. He's still going to go for a very, very gas-light factory, though. Which means not like a lot of Reapers, right? Well, no Reapers. Factory's going to be pretty okay timed, but... I still like the fact that GuMiHo has scouting and has not been scouted, versus Byun being really blind in this game. So I'm still surprised that Byun chose to do this. But might be thinking that even if GuMiHo committed to anything, whatever, who the freak knows, if he plays his production right, he might still be okay. Yeah, very gaslight, full on 1-1-1. Wow, okay. Huh. A funky game. So 2 Reapers with the SCV leading the charge. Oh, the Hellion popped out, perfectly timed. Like I pointed out, you know, the factory is really well timed when you don't get those Reapers, don't get a reactor. And actually this Hellion's a straight up boss. Kills the Reaper. With the help of the Marines, pushes the second Reaper back. Still not a lot of scouting though. Byun has no idea that there is a proxied Cyclone with upgrade on the way, which... Is that good? Is he gonna pop over? Oh, okay, no. Can you pop over? I'm not even sure. I don't even know. Is this a good follow-up? I think it'd be an amazing follow-up if Byun was silly enough to try and get this command center down here. But Byun's not that silly. So then otherwise... GuMiHo went up to a starport as well. He's not using it, though. Okay, okay. As soon as he got 100 gas, he built a Banshee. No upgrade for you. Byun's drop finds a factory in the middle of the map. Denies the upgrade. Still have to deal with 2 Cyclones, however. And good lock-on, and no lock-on the second Cyclone. The medevac's just between the rock and a hard place, man. But it actually is trying its best. Oh my god! It finally dies. 2 Cyclones just have so much micro potential that even though a medevac can also have a lot of micro potential, one does beat the other one. And then the 2 Reapers got into the main. Gonna be beat by the Marines and did not delay the command center. The jig's kind of up on GuMiHo's plan, which means, you know, is it going to actually at any point make up for the much faster command center of Byun? Because that's the issue right now. Byun's command center is down, his orbital's down, on location, blah, blah, blah. GuMiHo isn't, although it's not that far behind. Both of them go for Cloak. If both of them are going for Cloak, then I like the guy who has 2 Cyclones. Okay, yeah. A lot of the time I feel like Terrans don't, you know, they try their best to be greedy. They don't want to scan early on in TvT. They want to figure things out other ways, Reapers, drops, whatever, but the scan reveals Byun's plans. Byun's Banshee reveals GuMiHo's plans. He sent that across the map immediately, not waiting for Cloak. Ends up being a bit of a scout. Was the Cloak a fake? Oh, I don't think so. It was like 30% in, right? These TvTs are actually really not being normal. I am absolutely that, like, the mom in the front seat of the car in this meme that just is yelling at TvT, why aren't you normal? And, like, GuMiHo's TvTs is yelling back at me. Cyclone's gonna pop out under the threat of 2 Banshees, but an auto turret also comes down there, and that's too much DPS. But then a Cyclone attack from GuMiHo comes in. The Banshee took down the tank, which would have protected Byun from the Cyclones. Cyclone Banshee coming in at the same time. Kills all of Byun's anti-air. And these Banshees are just going to wreck face. Even if they are scanned, the Marines can't do a great job of chasing. No missile turrets down. And the Banshees, yeah, they run out of Cloak. Does it really matter? Byun still has an SCV lead, shockingly enough. GuMiHo is making up for that. Another tank might fall as well. Oh my god, it did. Finally one of the Banshees falls, but still a lot of damage done. All while GuMiHo grabs the third CC on location. Cyclone tried to go in for a little bit more harassment. It was a bit bold for a weak Cyclone, but it tried, man. And this Banshee's going to grab maybe 2 more SCV kills before it dies. If it dies, it might just tuck itself into a corner. 16 SCVs. GuMiHo takes the lead. GuMiHo's going to go into Mech by the looks of things once again. Yep, he already has a second factory, moving on to a third. And the auto turret does have to be popped to finally get rid of that damn thing, but it did get, I think, 2 more SCVs. Barracks also finally going to be pushed away. I guess that was giving a lot of vision to GuMiHo, so he knew kind of the more open opportunities. That was a whole clusterfuck, man. Kikai, thank you for the 9 months. Twitch, baby. That was an interesting scan. Was he fearing a Doom drop as well? Oh, maybe the scan was for the lock-on, and I just missed it. Maybe that's... But it doesn't even get injured, so I don't know if lock-on actually happened. Well, either way. Now what I'm concerned about is that Byun doesn't know it's Mech. Does he have a suspicion? Well, the opportunity is there. GuMiHo just meched in the last game, so he is capable of playing Mech. Hopefully Byun is at least mindful of that. But he doesn't know about the guy's third CC. He doesn't know about Mech, 100%. He's got, again, no vision. Which I've been saying, has kind of been why I keep giving GuMiHo the benefit. But might really screw him over. Byun should scan or get some type of scout prior to adding on add-ons. But that in itself is kind of a bad thing. The fact that I'm talking about add-ons of your 2 additional barracks. These aren't barracks 4 and 5. These are barracks 2 and 3. While the Mech player is already up on 6 gases, 3 factories. Like, the factory production is faster than the barracks production. You see what I'm saying? That should not bode well for Byun. His third DC only just now comes down. Going to go for a big drop into the hanging natural, which it is open. It is open. He scans. He sees now, confirms it's Mech. Sees 2 tanks, 3 Ravens, though. It's a lot of firepower. Decides to go for it. Nope. Decides to just, nope, the freak out of there. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, yes. Gonna go for it. Go for the drop. Many auto turrets coming down. 2 of them, though, for Byun actually helped push the Ravens over into an awkward direction into the waiting arms of the Cyclone, which gets 2 Ravens that still had energy left over. Not bad, Cyclone. The Vikings are still chasing this army. I mean, I think the end goal, though, for GuMiHo, because of his superior position, was to just make sure he didn't die to that Doom drop. So even though that turned awkward, he successfully didn't die. Way to go. Way to not die. That's an award all of us can be given. If you were here right now, you have successfully not died. And Byun is starting to make the moves to try and come back in a game like this. So a Doom drop, obviously. that's the move of Terran players. But also 4th command center on location. I'm actually kind of torn about this positioning of the command center. Because maybe you could turn into a planetary, but then against a Mech push, I don't know if that's actually what you want to do. I think if this game was very different, if Byun wasn't already behind, going for forward expansions can make sense. But now I'm just kind of concerned that when GuMiHo does do his maxed out push, this will be a planetary that just dies with nothing to say about it. If it turns into an orbital, I actually kind of like that. That means he can lift and leave. And there hasn't been really too many Hellion run-bys in any of these games. 1-1 is on the way for both of them. Byun thankfully has at least that in the lead. Did finish up his 5 barracks. And, is moving along well enough now. But GuMiHo had a lot of time to get situated, to get comfortable. And the only thing he really was missing was missile turrets, which I'm a little surprised he still hasn't put down. This is almost kind of a weird, like, bait? Is it yeah? Like, he's like, yeah, I dare you to go into that natural. Bitch. And then he runs into a bunch of tanks that are sim-citied and missile turrets are up, so kind of like a bait. But it looks like he is going to take this as a 4th anyways. Command center's here, SCV's mining it out, and then he'll probably add 6 missile turrets. think a unit of GuMiHo just scouted that there was a pretty good army, really. But it is, again, the situation where the army supplies are equal. The upgrades are now equal. And I said it in the last game. That should put GuMiHo in a better position. Assuming nothing terrible goes wrong, which, you know, Byun did manage to catch those tanks on siege, give himself a 20 army supply lead, and could have played with that if he had scouted the 4cc. At this time around, he probably figures that a 4cc is going to be on location in the back, and there's nothing he can do about it. I mean, he's literally scouting it. There's just like nothing he can do about it. Kind of doom drop over to the third base instead, but actually, looking at it, I'm sizing it up. No, don't do that. No. GuMiHo has not only his Vikings coming over, which is, oh my god, no! Oh god, so much pain. So much pain. Even target fire is the one that did manage to boost. So everything dies. Holy shit. And Byun, I mean, that was kind of on him, right? He got scouted by a single unit to the bottom left, yet still continued. Now he's down 20 army supply. This did not turn into a planetary, which I think is absolutely the smartest thing they do. I actually would have been kind of shocked if Byun had turned into a planetary. So it can lift, it can leave. It's been providing him an extra bonus to his economy, which he really did need. But now it is going to be under siege and have to be removed. Even if it is going to live, it's going to be removed. And it actually might not live, because there's a billion Vikings in the air. Byun goes for whatever he can with the little ragtag group of injured marauders. They get immediately bodied. Command center dies the tanks, either way. And Byun is back down to 3 bases. 5th just finished, I guess. But how does a bio player take on an entrenched mech player who is once again going to have equal upgrades? And not that upgrades, I think, would have made a difference anyways. It just is kind of like a bit of salt in the wound, just really pushing the idea forward that GuMiHo's army really is better. Now this is a little more promising of a run-by. The tanks were trying to rally forward, get caught off guard. If Byun could just go ahead and get something important with this, it'd be great. But running into 2 tanks, taking a bit of damage. As soon as you're going to pull into this, all right, whatever. You do you, man. So it is going to get something important. It's going to grab 20-plus SCVs, and a 3rd CC has to lift. But GuMiHo's army is still superior. And he still has 3 bases mining, which might just be enough anyways. Although he is struggling to max out, so is Byun. Have I been flipping these 2? I might have flipped these 2 at some point. My bad. But now for sure, Byun's army supply still down 20 army supply. It's just worker count that's not too bad, but that's not what's important right now. Byun's going to try and come from behind. This time around, there's no Hellbat drops that can counter a drop on top of the tanks, but there are Hellbats, which do help anyways. One of the best surrounds possible coming in for Byun, coming in from every single direction. Tanks not going to be able to take care of literally everything. Vikings forced to land, and the Vikings are going to realize, oh, okay, we might actually not want to do that. Let's go ahead and just save our lives, go back home, and fight another day. The damage has been done. Byun did some equal damage too. He got the 3rd CC by the looks of things, plus all those SCVs that GuMiHo wasn't that quick in replacing, despite having a decent number of command centers. I think just maybe hasn't hockeyed this one. Plus it only just finished, so that makes sense. Maybe another command center hasn't been hockeyed, but the point is it wasn't particularly quick. So he's still at 52 workers, but with a bunch of mules. Vikings go for a big ol' doom land, I guess, into the hanging natural of Byun. I believe they just got a cancel on +3 attack, and they will, with the tank helping, get a cancel on +3 armor. So that means that GuMiHo is going to have a 3-3 upgrade advantage over the bio player. But once again, coming in through the middle of the map, this time around, GuMiHo is going to lift whatever SCVs he can and save those ones at the very least. With tanks on position in the natural and main high ground, I don't believe this can do much more damage. It's going to look for, hopefully, another base to tackle. It's not actually there, but we have a similar hidden base situation. And GuMiHo still has a very scary army. 3 tanks siege up. That is enough bio to maybe get that good concave on it, but it won't trade super effectively. still ultimately leads to GuMiHo having like a better position. What GuMiHo doesn't know is that the 5th, like I talked about, is done. It's been mining, now super oversaturated, turned into an orbital, and then I guess this would have been a 6th. Okay, he knows about this one, so he does know about it, and he is doing something about it. Oh, the battlecruisers also finally popped out. So, you know, during all of this, battlecruisers are popping out. It's one of the reasons GuMiHo hasn't remaxed as fast as he actually could have, because so much resources were going into battlecruisers. And he's been hanging on to a couple of resources as well to ensure further battlecruiser production. And then he has a really patient plan in action right now. He's going to wait, I guess, till a more devastating moment to reveal the presence of battlecruisers. In a weird situation, GuMiHo returns home to deal with the drop, I guess. Now might secure his 4th base. Might. And where are the battlecruisers? Still tucked into the corner. The drop did not see them. But now they're going to reveal themselves. It's kind of funny they reveal themselves in the command center. But, I mean, they'll get the kill, so still pretty good. This adds a whole new problem for Byun. Not just having to deal with battlecruisers as is, you know, would you have to kill battlecruisers, but then also the mobility of battlecruisers. It's going to be super annoying. Because GuMiHo waited for these to have teleport again. They are very safe to do whatever the hell they want. Once they are actually under fire, that's when they teleport home. We do have some Hellion run-bys trying to take advantage of what is clearly Byun going for nothing but orbitals, which certainly is the downside, not getting a planetary at any point. A good player like GuMiHo would be like, oh, well, let me just go ahead and kill you. 2 command centers go down to the battlecruisers, leaving Byun only on 3 orbitals. He did lift his main for one of those bases. He's very desperately trying to go into Cyclones to respond to battlecruisers, which, I mean, they are desperate. In a very perfect scenario, they're pretty good, but it has to be a perfect scenario, which, I don't know if it's going to happen. So perfect scenario being not getting Yamato to micro against, and also not going up against a bunch of tanks, which GuMiHo has plenty of. Byun managed to get a snipe on the planetary, but now we have one of the biggest army supply discrepancies in the game. GuMiHo almost doubling the army supply of Byun. If Byun could actually rebuild an army, it still would be tough. It still would be tough. Still with battlecruisers. It'd still be an even army supply to a mech player with better upgrades. So it is game over. GG. GuMiHo takes the 2-0. And another fascinating edition of TvT. This is the day of weird TvTs.